state of Palestine. We do this built on insights and engagement in finding a peaceful solution in this conflict since Count Bernadotte in the 40s, our early contacts with PLO through Olof Palme, successful work with Egypt and Sweden to start a dialogue between the United States and the PLO in 1988, and with the many Swedes that went to live the experience of kibbutz life in Israel in the 60s and 70s and onwards, and based on long-standing relations with Israel and with the Palestinians. Now, the young people in both Palestine and Israel need to see that there are alternatives to violence. Our hope is that the recognition will strengthen constructive and moderate forces on both sides, that it will contribute to an end of the occupation and help to stop a development towards a one-state reality. It is critical times. The recent vicious circle of violence, the devastating Gaza war, and the recent increase of provocations, violence, and terrorist attacks in Jerusalem is a painful warning signal of this urgency. Sweden condemns the horrific terrorist attack on Jewish worshippers in Jerusalem last week. All actors have to unite to prevent the political conflict to turn into a spiral of violence with also religious dimensions. If not, the prospects of reaching a two-state solution that meets the aspirations of both parties would be gone. The lack of progress fuels new acts of violence, of course in the immediate area, but also in the wider Middle East. There are no acceptable excuses for provocations, terrorist attacks, rockets towards civilians, or other violent actions. The Israeli settlement expansion, the demolitions, land confiscation, forcible transfer, and resettlements in Palestine, they are not in accordance with international law and are making a negotiated final status agreement on a sustainable two-state solution not only more difficult, but soon almost impossible. The conditions in Gaza are unacceptable and unsustainable, and a return to the situation before the war is not an option. Status quo means that the two-state solution is fading away during the rapid deterioration of the situation on the ground, both in Gaza and in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem. The borders of Gaza must be opened for construction material, for all goods and people. The trade possibilities have to increase. The inhabitants of Gaza need to see immediate improvements of their living conditions so that they do not lose hope about the future and so that they do not lose faith in the international community. Time has come for a more active involvement by the international community, of course, by us in the European Union, by the UN Security Council, the USA, the Arab League, and the Quartet. We must all assist the parties with clear parameters and with a defined time frame aimed at the realization of a just, lasting, and comprehensive settlement of the conflict. The goal is that Israel and Palestine could live side by side in peace and security within recognized borders. The international community has a responsibility to protect and to reassure constructive and moderate actors in Palestine, which adhere to non-violence, recognition of Israel, recognition of previous agreements, and Sweden will certainly contribute to this. On today's occasion, it is high time to turn words into concrete action on the ground. At this moment, it is important to support President Abbas, strengthen the Palestinian Authority and the consensus government in the West Bank and in Gaza. Sweden has recently adopted a new 5-year development strategy for Palestine with a total amount of $200 million, an increase with 50%. This year, also marks 65 years since UNRWA was established to support millions of Palestinians forced to flee their homes. Sweden will continue to be one of the main supporters to UNRWA, and this year we've contributed with approximately $50 million to the agency, and we are also proud to exercise the chairmanship of its ADCOM. Mr. President, let me end by saying that we expect both the Palestinian and Israeli leaderships to do their utmost to ensure that both peoples soon may live in prosperity, peace, and security. Only with peace can true and full security be obtained. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. I thank the State Secretary for Foreign Affairs of Sweden, and I now give the floor to the distinguished representative of Lebanon.